welcome back. As you can see, we have essentially the finished guitar in front of you here. All that's really left to do is the custom cavity cover there. We're going to show you how we're going to do that. It's been about a year or so since I filmed the first and second episodes. Been playing the guitar a bunch. It sounds amazing, plays amazing. I'm completely stoked, and it exceeded my expectations with how this was going to come out. However, I did run into some problems and had to swap some parts and things since those last two videos, so I want to recap all of that and also get you guys a full parts list of the final product here so that you can get the exact same stuff I did to do this on your own. So I think where we left off last was about to do the wiring, and as you guys can see, that's a really tight squeeze there, and I very quickly learned that trying to film that and solder it, my hands were in the way, you couldn't see, so it was kind of pointless. So I will link in the description and also put up on the screen here a diagram that shows the wiring. It's very easy using that PRS switch, so I'll put that up. So as far as problems that I ran into, when I sent the guitar off to have the bridge drilled, I was informed that the neck relief, so the angle of the neck, was not proper, and that is why I was having that issue with the angle of the neck and the body and the pickup height before. That you guys remember I was saying I wasn't sure if it was just the way the parts were routed or what, but it's actually because the neck cavity is not routed for the proper neck relief, so it needs to be shimmed. So I had to pay the guy who was routing the bridge for me to remove the neck that I glued in, shim it. So now you can see we've got the proper angle there. So you gotta make sure that either you know how or you get somebody who knows how to set this neck for you, because you're gonna need to make sure that that neck relief is proper, because the guitar absolutely would have been unplayable and unable to set up properly with the neck just dropped straight in like I did that first time. So unfortunately, the guy, since he had to heat up the glue to remove the neck, it damaged the finish, so I had to sand the whole thing down, refinish it again. And I don't know if whether it was cheap or not, or if the guy was a little heavy-handed, but it came back also with one of the locking tuners was busted. So I swapped those out for some more heavy-duty Goto, or Goto, however you say that, locking tuners, which these things are like tanks, and I totally love them. So you can see we got those are the tuners. We already know the body and the neck, which again I'll link to the seller with the parts here. Just the standard black speed knobs, the Dunlop strap locks, and the PRS trim plate, I'm sorry, jack plate, PRS Dragon 2 pickups, PRS standard trim rings, the PRS 3-way switch, and the eBay PRS wiring upgrade kit. So that is essentially everything you need. Again, we'll get a list together with sellers and part numbers and all that for you guys very specifically, but it's really not a lot. So other than that, we just have the back cover trim plate issue. So as you guys recall, the trim plate that we got, the actual PRS trim plate is way too big for this cavity. So I have here a template that I made, which is perfectly fits the cavity. And what we're gonna do is outline that onto this PRS one, and we're gonna cut the extra around it so that we have the correct shape for that. Now, how did I get such a perfect template? I'm gonna show you guys. It's really easy. Alright, so basically you just want to take a piece of paper and like a spoon or a butter knife or a fork, whatever. You lay this over the cavity and you can kind of feel where the edge is, and you kind of just want to press along and follow that edge all the way around. And you're basically just trying to get that edge to mark up the paper. I mean, you can even use your finger if you really want, but I just find like the metal spoons really help get the line in there. Alright, and I don't know if you guys will be able to see this, but what you're left with is an outline. And then you can cut around the outline. So that way you have a perfect template to cut your plastic to fit the back there. Alright, so that is what we're going to do now. So I'm going to get the guitar off the table, get the saw out, and we are going to cut that plastic piece and then just basically sand up the rough edges, get that installed, and we should be good to go. Alright guys, so I've got my jigsaw set up, and using a paint marker on the bottom. So on the top we've got the plastic protective layer, which is going to protect it from scratches sliding around on here, but we want to use the paint marker on the bottom so that if there's any paint left over, it doesn't happen to get stuck on the top or anything like that. So now we're gonna cut around this shape and get it mounted in the guitar. Okay. There we go. Let's see if it fits. So we just gotta sand a little bit, the rough edges down this corner, but it looks like that's gonna work. Okay, so the trim cover is done and it's fully mounted. As you can see, I had to use 3 different drill bits. So use the middle one to make the initial hole through the plastic, bigger one to counter drill it so that the screws hit recessed, and then the third one to pre-drill the wood.